Hey y'all, Jamie, that's me here. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, I have to talk about Miss Huda. Yes, Huda of Love Island USA season 7, right? So Huda has been allowing herself to get caught the fuck up. All right. And I'm not even going to say caught up as far as like somebody else putting her in an awkward position, right? But more so caught up in a way that is revealing more and more of who you are. But it's a lot of who we already knew the hell she was. And a lot of y'all did not want to, y'all didn't want to believe it or see it. But honestly, we are also at a place where the people that are going to support her are going to continue to support her. It's just what it is. You might have a few scragglers that's gonna be like, okay, yeah, I can't rob her no more. Like she knew what she was doing, whatever the case is. You're gonna have some people that's gonna fall off, right? But you very much so know that she has an audience not too far from MAGA, honey. It's giving every bit of cult, high key. All right. They're gonna stay loyal regardless. And unfortunately, that's just what it is. But we're gonna talk about it damn near every time well, not every time, okay? But when situations come up that need to be talked about, we're going to discuss it. All right. Miss Huda, she done got her Jeremiah and Louie. All right. She done found her man, Louie. They locked in. What you need to do though, because it keeps having you tied the fuck up, is you sitting up there being a part of his streams. Whatever streaming that man got going on, you might need to let him do it because honestly, it only exposes you more. He might get a little piece of the backlash, but you definitely gonna get the most because why women always get most of the backlash than the men do. That's one. But number two, it be really showing more of who the hell you are. All right. And if you don't want people to really see who the hell you is, do you might want to moonwalk up off that man's stream. High key. Okay. But we're gonna let you do what you do anyway, because again, for a lot of us, anything that comes up about Huda is not really surprising to us. She has some of these same antics or whatever over there in the villa. And some of us even mentioned that when she would call somebody bro all the time, we knew exactly what it is she really, really wanted to say. But she had that bro locked down. Okay. She had that bro under full control to not say what it is she want to say. When you call a man a bitch, then I really know what you really, really want to say. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't. Right. And then you came out the villa trying to act like you was the villain because the victim, because a lot of your fans said you believing that you were the damn victim in the situation. So a lot of people like, Jamie, what the hell going on? Okay, well, cool. So it appears that Huda was on a live stream with her boo, Mr. Louis Russell, whatever the case was. And there was an anonymous call that came in. And I guess on this live, they could have been taking, anonymous calls or whatnot. Y'all can fill in the backstory down in the comments. I know y'all gonna do that anyway, because that's just how y'all is, right? So, this call comes in, and this person has something to say about Olandria. And I know some people may feel like, oh, yeah, y'all crazy about Olandria. Olandria, listen, if it would have been Shelly, if it would have been Justine, we was going to come up behind it, period. We was going to come up on her ass about that, period. Understand? However, this person got on the phone and they said something about Olandria. And the reaction to what they said about Olandria, pretty much calling her out of her name or whatever, um, they pretty much laughed at it, right? They laughed at whatever this thing was. And Louis very well understood what was being said. And I do feel like Huda understood exactly what was being said too. Because at the end of the day, first of all, Olandria's name came right out that person's mouth. Olandria, you should have hung up right then. But I don't know. I probably would have felt the way, bitch, if you would have hung up if they would have said Olandria's name, okay? Because I would have been like, bitch, what is this about, right? But we already know y'all not fucking with each other, and she definitely don't rock with you. But I honestly would have preferred you to have hung up when y'all heard Olandria's name before they came on. Honestly, what you should have said, if y'all be on this live stream and y'all allowing callers, please do not call in and say anything about my former castmates of Love Island USA. Please do. I am in a decent space. They are in a great space. Those people are doing a great job. They are succeeding. But do not call into this line talking about my castmates. I don't like Love Island USA is behind me at this point. Okay. It has helped me get to where the hell I'm trying to be or whatever the case is. But don't come in here calling nobody. But you don't never stand for shit for real. But Olandria pulled your ass to the front in my personal to see just how much you really gonna stand for something. Cause Leah, I mean, and it's a lot of comparisons between her and Leah, cause Leah not finna go for none of that type of shit. Okay. Leah would have nipped all of that in the bud. Like, don't even think that you could be comfortable enough to come onto my live and say anything about them. And in addition to, okay, don't come on my live saying nothing about him, but also don't come on my man live. When you see me on here thinking that you finna speak about, we not doing that. All right. But you still feel like you was the victim in the situation. So I feel like she continues to allow things to pass. But that's just my personal about it. Y'all feel how y'all want to feel. Whatever. So let's get to this video of what was put up. Okay. Let's check this out really quick and hear what's being said.
I want to turn the light.
Hello?
Baby, you might want to turn the light. Hello?
Like, if all of us can play this for the first time and hear exactly what they said, these two know what was said. They both reacted at the same exact time. And yeah, like that's just what it is. They both heard it. Now, you might have a situation where you like, did they say what the fuck I think did they say what I think they said? Let me play that again, because I know they didn't say what it is that I think they said. Right? You're gonna likely run it back.
Whoa. Hey.
Yo, I turned that shit off.
Hey.
Yo, what the fuck? What did they say? They said a bad word. Baby, you might want to turn the light.
Hello?
Baby, you might want to turn the light. Hello?
Hear it now. Hear it. Hear it. And then it's the reaction for me. And he's laughing like it's just the funniest thing in the world. As a piece of a black man, laughing like it's just the funniest thing. But probably if somebody said that same word to him in his damn face, he'll be ready to start a riot or whatever the case is and prove his blackness or whatever, however y'all say it. But yeah. And then I feel like for me, after hearing whatever was said, there wasn't a reaction to say, hey, don't nobody else call back in with this type of bullshit. All right. That's not something that we finna tolerate. Cut that out. Like, let's not. Right. If you're gonna get on this phone and you're gonna call in, we let you talk to us, whatever it is. Listen, we ask for respect of all people. Right. But I also feel like people do antics like this because they know that it's profitable for them as well. Because what's going to happen? People going to try to go and watch those streams or whatever the case is. They're going to go over there and they're probably going to follow them. Right. They're going to go to their page and pull up different pictures and like or not like or, say negative things, positive things, whatever the case is. But it's only going to help out their analytics at the end of the damn day. But, that's just my thoughts about it. But yeah, we won't get into more of this video because y'all just pretty much heard what was being said, where Olandria was pretty much called out of her name, right? And so once this happened, Louie decided that he wanted to hop on social media and pretty much let people know that let me pause that so I can get this up for you guys, to pretty much let them know, like, I'm black too. Okay, it's giving a heavy on the shoulder shrug. And let's just get into it and see exactly what he had to say. Let's check this out.
Fat people calling her racist and then calling me racist. Sorry. Cough, cough. I don't know if you can fucking see. I'm black. Yeah? Not the darkest, but I've definitely been kicked in the face with it, right? And she's with me. So, make it make sense, bro. Bro, the world has gone to shit, bruv. Like, our kids are gonna grow up in like this. This is just an opportunity for the haters of my girl to fucking run with hate.
So my thoughts are this then, if that's the case, if this is just the opportunity for the haters of your girl to run with hate, then I feel like stop putting her on a platform and in a position for her truth to come out. Stop putting her in a platform and on a position for certain things to happen. And then when people react to it, then all of a sudden it's, oh my God, she didn't mean it. She did, like when she got those people put out their room and then tried to say that that's not what happened. And those people came out and that's exactly how they felt, that she didn't want them in there. So, and the fact that, it's a lot of people out here that have friends, that are black, that may have dated people that are black, but then they have those under and overtones of being racist, right? So just because you're with her doesn't mean what that's supposed to mean. And then the other thing is with your accent, I do feel like on top not only your accent, but the fact that you're a mixed man, a regular black dark skinned person, how America responds to them versus how they're going to respond to you, a person where it's not a question about whether they black or not, right, versus a person that's mixed like yourself, I think the reaction is just completely different. But you know I'm not gonna fight him too much. He say he a black man, that's whatever it is, that's you trying to defend her and say because she's with me she can't be racist. I mean, not necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily. So there's that. Now, Huda did take to social media herself, where Huda came out, and this is some of what Huda had to say. So this is the first thing that she made a post of, saying, "Y'all, first of all, clickbait using a sensitive topic is actually insane." Right? She says, "Me and Louie did not hear what was said in that no caller ID call on live. Only the racial slur, which we hung up immediately." Right? But y'all also laughed in the midst of hanging up too. So, and then, when a lot of the people that were supporting her was like, oh, she didn't hear it. She didn't hear it. Well, she just pretty much confirmed that she did hear it when she said that we did not hear what was said in that no caller ID call, only the racial slur. So you did hear it. You didn't hear it, but you heard it. So you did hear it. And you heard Olandria's name, which was clear as day. And you also heard the racial slur. And then you said y'all hung up immediately, right? I feel like, to come to social media now and say, I don't condone this or that, whatever, I think you should have immediately followed up with like, hey, mm-mm, we don't tolerate that here on this platform. What you say about if he feels like he's if he says if he identifies as a black man, then I think the statement should have been, we don't do that, right? Don't call in. Don't do that type of energy. We not doing that. Okay. If you'll say that about her, then you probably saying that about me, or you probably saying it about my man, whatever the case is, not tolerating it. Right. I feel like it could have been shut down in that moment, but I guess y'all was so overwhelmed with the laughter and the reaction of the audience, the viewers. So she goes on to say, whoever called purposely, continuously called while we were live. I really don't condone racism, which is why it was immediately hung up. Okay. She says, once again, we did not hear it very well, considering it sounded like a child, only the last slur. I just wanted to address this before it blows out of proportion. Well, it's already done blown out of proportion, honey. Which is why you likely came and responded. I feel like if it wasn't blown out of proportion, she would not have said anything, you know. So yeah, and she said that if it sounded like a child, right? And they only heard the last part of it, which was the slur. So they hung up. So when you heard that, you knew what they said, and you turned around, you laughed and said, "Oh my God, what they say? A bad word?" Like it's a bad word. So I think she could have just shut that down right then. Like, don't nobody else call in, or I don't know if they were doing, receiving call-ins, but she said this person continuously continued to call anonymously. I don't answer no call IDs, okay? I mean, so that's why, I mean, I don't know the full context of the live, right? Because they could have been taking callers like some people do, or they just kept getting this call. So it was like, well, let me answer it to see who this person is, right? But I don't answer, like, and shout out to, to Apple, because it's really giving if your number's not in this phone, no caller ID or whatever, all of that, it's going straight to voicemail. It's going straight to voicemail. Leave a voicemail, because why is you answering it? So then it kind of makes me question. I'm not gonna say that it was staged or anything, but I question that, like, was this a scheme that y'all set up? Like, what's really going on? I will hope that's not something that they would set up. But it's like, why would you even answer a damn call? Like, did they keep calling and Louie was like, no, go ahead and answer it. Pick up and see what they want. While we're on live, pick up and see what they want. It's like, for what? If they're calling no caller ID, why would you answer? Because you already know if it's pertaining to your daughter or somebody, everybody got your number and they could reach out to you. They would have sent you a text by now or something. So it's just really weird. She also put up another post here where she says, also, laughter was because it was awkward. She's saying that it was awkward. Like, who the heck says something offensive like that on a call? Girl, not that it was. Whew, y'all can say what y'all gonna say. She says, like, who the heck says something offensive like that on a call on his live? And as you can hear me say, what did they say? And they said a bad word, because that's all I heard was the bad word. It was awkward and inappropriate. Whoever said it is in the wrong. So basically, you passing the issue back off to that person, like they was the ones in the wrong, not us. We didn't do anything. We just, merely laughed. But the only reason why we laughed was because it was just a little it was awkward. It was very weird. Like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, not looking good. Not looking good. Not looking good. And if you already know that's something that follows you, where people have already labeled you as such even prior to said incident, gotta be more careful. I just feel like, listen, you might need to moonwalk up off that man live. Stop being on his lives, because it's really giving, as much as you're in love, it also give he using you just a little piece too. Because let's be for real. And my personal people really tuning in to see what she finna do or what she got to say. I mean, yeah, but anyway, let's get to what Olandria had to say, because Olandria learned about this information and Miss Girl came to the front with some things to say. Olandria says, I do not condone racism of any kind, nor do I entertain it. That kind of language is never acceptable, not in anger, not as a joke, not ever. Words like that carry generations of pain, and pretending otherwise only keeps the cycle going. Okay? She says defending it, laughing about it, or making excuses is even worse, which is what Huda did in this post that she made, right? So then she goes on to say, I will not let this moment derail my purpose of uplifting my community. I'm standing firm in who I am. And she says, and using this as an opportunity to call for real accountability and awareness. We all have a role in building a culture where speaking to one another with respect is the standard, and where speaking against hate speech is the bare minimum. While I anticipate this will result in surface level apologies that fade in a few days, I like to transform this moment into something actionable. I encourage those who have participated in the stream and their followers to demonstrate a genuine commitment to anti racism by donating to organizations and foundations dedicated to educating and uplifting this community, such as the UNCF, the NAACP, and or the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. I will be making a personal donation as well. In the next slides, I'll be sharing donation links to contribute in support of HBCUs and underfunded educational resources for Black students. Okay, so she clocked Miss Ma'am real cutesy. Okay, real cutesy like. All right. Words like that carry generations of pain, and pretending otherwise only keeps the cycle going. Defending it, laughing about it, or making excuses is even worse, which is what she did when she came online and tried to pass the issue off to somebody else. And then you got your man coming online saying whatever he's saying. And I think that tone has since changed. But let's get into what Huda had to say. She comes back after seeing what all Olandria said, and she says, I've taken the majority of the day to reflect and collect my thoughts to make sure this didn't come off as disingenuous. All right. She says, last night, I quickly posted a statement acknowledging my reaction to the racial slur that was said on Louie's live stream. And see how she making sure she say that was Louie's live stream. right? I feel like she's saying it to say a black man, that's his live stream. That's not mine. Girl, moonwalk up off that man's stream. So then she says, I want to take this moment to more fully take accountability for my actions. Okay, well, let's see it. I want to begin by saying I completely respect Olandria, and it's extremely disheartening that anyone, especially a presumed child, would find it excusable to use this type of language. First of all, a presumed child, like, to when I heard it, I didn't hear a child. When I heard it, I didn't hear a child. I heard a soft spoken voice that was an adult. That was a person that was of age that know what the hell they saying. Right? Regardless, like, I feel like saying a presumed child is also making it also to me like trying to soften the blow of, oh, no, it's just the kids saying, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, children are old enough to know the difference, to know what to say, what not to say, what to do, and what not to do at the same time. But let's keep going. She says, especially a presumed child, which find it excusable to use this type of language, and doing so only underlines the ignorance of the gravity that such a word carries. She says, Olandria, it is now clear that this comment was targeted at you, and I apologize for my immediate reaction. My reaction in that moment came from being caught off guard, not from finding the word or situation funny. It was a nervous, uncomfortable reaction that I recognized was inappropriate. I want to be clear that I do not condone or tolerate anyone who uses such language, and I strongly encourage the individual responsible to reflect deeply on their words and then harm and the harm they've caused. She says, I'm making a personal donation to the NAACP and encourage anyone who feels moved to do the same. I will also share a list of additional organizations that support racial equity. She says education and mental health support, so that anyone who wants to contribute can do so meaningfully. Right. So then she goes on and she also drops, right, some of these foundations and organizations, which is something that Olandria also did the other day. Right. So she has some things to say. I think that was a very classy response from Olandria, and here we are with Huda trying to condone, not condone, but actually take some accountability and acknowledge what it is that she did wrong. And we hear you. A lot of people may not take it like you really apologize, and a lot of people may not care. I think it's going to be the changed action. I think people are going to start watching you even more closely to see how are you going to move from this moment forward. At some point, you're going to have to change something. Okay, let's get to what Louie had to say. Louie says, I'd like to extend my sincerest apology to all those affected by the caller who used language that completely goes against everything we stand for. Now, Louis, let me tell you something. If it's something that you completely stand against or whatever, while you having your girlfriend on your live monetizing off of her presence, I feel like you should also make a statement at the very beginning that y'all don't condone that type of stuff. So don't get in my chat saying these type of words, don't this, that, and the other. Like, set your ground rules from the beginning. And I feel like if you don't do that, then we all may know the reason why. You don't want to you don't want to you don't want your audience to shy away from supporting you, right? Because they can't say and use the vulgar language or whatever it is that they, and the offensive language they really want to use. But you need to do that. But let's keep going. Right. He goes on to say, Huda and I were extremely caught off guard as a black man, because he wants to reiterate that, just as Huda did when she said that it was Louie's live. He says, I have greater empathy through my own lived experiences battling racism. And the idea that a flustered response to a very unnerving situation could be misinterpreted for me not taking the matter seriously is incredibly disheartening. So now it feels like you extending your apology, but at the same time, I don't like that y'all came down on me like that for my reaction to it. Like, that's crazy that y'all on my head top like that because I had kind of laughed at what was said, right? So then he goes on to say, I was extremely shocked that someone would so casually use harmful and dangerous language. But how would you feel if that person called and said Louis was a nigger? You would have responded completely different. In my personal, to me, if they would, you probably would have said, hey, bro, you would have had like a whole thing on that phone, or you would have hung it up and had a whole thing to say on that damn live. Well, but it sounds like I'm thinking about Real Housewives of Potomac when Wendy Osefo was like, well, it's not me, so I guess that's how. I guess that's what it is. It's not you. So, anywho, so they go on to say I was extremely shocked that someone would so casually use harmful and dangerous language. And Huda and I both recognized the immediate need to end the call so we could process what had just happened. We were shocked that what sounded like a younger caller could so thoughtlessly speak that way. This was an extreme, unfortunate situation, one that in no way reflects my values nor Huda's. We are both very proud of the way we've used our platforms to be a voice for those who are often underrepresented, especially on TV. We are even more motivated now to approach every audience interaction with respect, inclusivity, and care. All right. So that is what Louie had to say in response to all of this. All right. Y'all let me know how y'all feel, whether you feel like they were highly aware of what was being said and they didn't care until they got the blowback, or if you felt like, maybe they didn't hear what the person said and it was like, oh, I ain't even hear what they said. Like, oh, maybe ain't nobody else hearing me because they sounded like a little baby on the phone. It sounded like a child on the phone. So you really couldn't hear exactly what it is that they said, even though Huda says that they did hear that. All right. Leave your thoughts and comments down below on the matter at hand. That is all that I have for you guys at this time. Of course, I'm Jamie, that's me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a praxis. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone